Seems to me last week I said we were going perch fishing on the Captain Nichols on Friday morning. Well, we did. Mr. Wind was awful. We couldn't get any videotape on that. Well, we did go Monday, though, up at Saugatuck for brown trout. And let me tell you, we had one heck of a trip. In the midst of all this turmoil in the weather, we had a real flat day, a real good day. We're going to tell you about it in just a minute. Stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. You're watching The Practical Sportsman.
There we go. Wow. Whoa, man. 20 plus.
If you looked south on March 15th from the end of the pier at Saugatuck, this is what you'd see. Shore ice and snow stacked up along the beach. Between the piers, the Kalamazoo River empties into Lake Michigan. That brings warm water that attracts the fish, which attracts quite a few hardy fishermen for that first open water trout and salmon fishing of the season. Now, in April, fishermen still use the piers, but with the ice gone, boat fishermen can get out and troll along the beach. That shallower water along the shore warms up first. Now, partly because it's shallow, but partly because the offshore west winds blow the warm surface water in against shore. So the first big open water fish to be caught, well, they're brown trout. Those early season brown trout average, 1, 2, 3 pounds each. Not many trophies, but who cares? Winter's over. 10-year-old Eli Bradley from Perry brought this fish to the net. Oh, I didn't tell you, we're fishing here with Dave Engel and Kevin Schippa on the Best Chance charter boat out of Saugatuck. Now, Dave and Kevin fish from early spring to late fall. They know how these fish move, what they eat, how to catch them. The way Eli handled the rod, I knew he was a good fisherman.
How you see him? Look at him. Look at him hold that fish. You've caught a few fish in your life, haven't you?
Yeah.
You have.
This tops it.
Very good.
Yeah, it tops it all right. Great to see a kid or anyone catch the biggest fish they've ever caught. Well, it was also a treat to be on Lake Michigan on one of the very few calm days this spring. On the heels of winter, from day to day, the weather is extremely unstable, extremely variable, and it goes without saying that it's extremely unpredictable. Of course, the fishing follows right along. Now, Eli's 13-year-old friend Chris took his turn at the rod. He boated another eating-sized brown trout, and fish this size are typical for the first spring fishing from a boat.
Brown trout season. Only time of the year we can catch any quantity of brown trout is the month of April. Get along this trough right here. We fish this 7 to 15 feet of water in between the sandbars. If you go out, it actually gets shallower right here.
You know, this water is so nice to see. How flat it is.
Yeah.
Because it hadn't been that way the past few days.
No, to say the least. It was real murky. And east wind's always good, though. Blows that. Yes.
East wind.
Blows that surface water.
From the east, the fish bite the least.
That's an old saying. Don't believe everything your grandpa told
yeah?
you. Yeah, not everything.
So east wind is good for this.
Well, what happens is the east wind takes the surface water out, cold water comes in underneath, puts the fish in this trough right here. Mm-hmm. All those little stone rollers, those little different sculpin, deep water sculpin, shallow water sculpin, brings all that stuff to the beach.
So east wind, make it out
for these browns. Does all right.
Well, Dave Engel is obviously right about the east wind and April brown trout. But later in the season, my experience is that an east wind, for inland lake fishing anyway, is a disaster. Of course, I've had fishing disasters in every kind of weather, but that's beside the point. Anyway, where are the big fish? Those big 20-pound king salmon in the spring? Well, we did catch a small one.
We're not going to brag about this one, but how'd you like to caught the one that had a hold of him? He meant business, didn't he? That was a dandy. We've been catching a few like that in here, too. Somebody definitely took a swipe at him.
Oh, yes, the tooth marks of a big king salmon. Wouldn't that be something to catch? But what are the chances of that happening when I'm on the boat? Hey, place your bets.
We got that Chinook that's jumping back there right now.
Jeff Bradley from Perry was the next in rotation to land a fish. Now, you never know what's going to be on when it first hits, but the next 30 seconds tells the story, though, and this was a big one.
It's out there
375.
almost 400 feet now.
100.
So it's ripping pretty good.
Or over 400 feet back there now.
425.
Almost 450 feet there. 443 feet right now, running.
Oh boy, it's been a few years since I've seen a big king salmon caught in April, so this was exciting for all of us.
Oh, is it locked?
Locked?
Okay.
No, that's a massive fish.
Oh man, I guess it doesn't want to come in. 460 feet out there.
Jeez.
I mean, I'm not even. It's not. See right there, he's taking off now. Still running.
You ever caught a big salmon?
No, I haven't.
This
is the first.
You're gonna like this.
Actually, this is the first time I never got seasick being out on the water.
Oh yeah? Well, it's a good flat day.
Yes. Yes, that helps.
Oh, so that's why you're standing around outside here.
That's right.
'Cause you're a
Am
little
I white
concerned.
yet?
No.
Boy, it's just that line is tight.
Yeah, this is a big one.
See,
So you're gaining on him now.
yeah, I can't get down underneath 400 feet though, out there. Right there, 450.
And then he says that's close enough.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Tell you, 10 minutes later, Jeff had cranked that salmon close to the boat.
Just keep wheeling it.
Just
Huh?
keep a level line down here for right now.
Okay.
So we're kind of going at it. Even if it
Down to
slips
20
away. Like
feet.
seeing just under the water. Like right on top. Just keep reeling. No, we're gonna take him. We're gonna want to get him on an
On
angle
this-
like this. Just keep
okay.
reeling. Just keep
Okay.
reeling.
Get around
An
this
angle like
side.
this. I gotta be behind you.
Even if you shoot through here.
Down.
You're good.
Okay.
Just keep reeling.
Wheeling. Okay.
See him right there?
Yep. Okay.
Nice shark.
If he starts snapping his jaws now, back up.
Okay.
'Cause he-
Guys. Now it's clear.
Okay.
We don't want anybody.
Reel this one in. Fish on right here.
He's staying right there.
Now, we don't want anybody to lose any arms, limbs, fingers.
Just reel it right out
Now
here.
he's right out, right there. He's pulling. You want me to keep turning it though, right? Oh yes, nice one, nice one. I like that.
Oh, you do?
We can get him in the boat. That's the next thing. The net may not be big enough.
Well, there was actually a lot more confusion than you're seeing here. We had to pull all the rods in on the starboard side, including the planer board, because fighting a big king salmon requires lots of elbow room for everybody, including the fish.
You want to keep wheeling it?
Nope, just wait. When he's fighting, you kind of go easy.
Okay.
He's about had it. See how sluggish he is?
Okay.
Now you can reel.
Okay.
Oh, just a second. We're gonna have to use the rod when he gets real close. Just go ahead and reel. Don't stop, Kev.
Want me to wheel?
Yeah.
All right.
You reel.
Reel. Okay. Right there. Oh. Okay.
Just lift. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Scared him a little. That's what we got to do. When he get his head up, I got to have his head
Okay.
up to net him.
Okay.
Reel.
Reel?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Reel?
Oh, just kind of lift.
Okay.
Nice and slow. That's it. We don't really want to roll him over the
Right
water.
there.
There we go.
Wow.
Whoa, man.
He's gonna get.
Oh, man. Hey.
Yeah. Oh,
Look at
yeah. 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 That's a nice birthday present. Today's my birthday today. Yes.
Today?
Yes, it is.
Well, happy
April
birthday.
22nd. Yeah, that is. That's a nice one.
Nice one. No kidding.
Oh, man.
Look at this. Woo! There's a king salmon. This is,
Careful there now.
I tell you, for early April.
Wow. We've been, believe it or not, this year, you know, we've seen it last year. We've seen a big increase in our Chinook fishery. And every trip we've caught a fish in the 20s this year.
Holy cow.
Which is nice. You know, I mean, that's what makes the trip right there. Those brown trout are fun, don't
Yeah,
get me
but-
wrong. But if you can pull a couple like that, you really got a trip.
That's excitement.
Yeah. I'm excited.
That's
Gee.
you, Eli.
How about this? Right off the beach. I would say it looks like close to a 30-pounder to me, but you
He's
say it isn't?
probably 24,
24. That's it.
maybe 25. What would he have weighed in September?
Oh man,
Huh? Are we going to have some big ones this year or what?
this is going to be something else.
And they're, you know, when you're getting 22 pounders every day, we've caught several of them.
Come on, Jeff. Pick this. This fish is yours.
Let me get my hand right in there.
Watch the teeth.
Okay.
He's got real teeth.
Okay.
That must have been the one that had a hold that little one we seen earlier, huh?
Hold it right up there. Hold it right up there for the camera.
I can.
Hold it
It's
higher.
that
Grab the tail and see if you can hold it. You know, like the trophy book picture.
There we go.
There we go. Huh? You're grunting and groaning.
Yes, I am.
We'll throw them in the cooler.
Okay.
See if we have enough room. Well, the ice chest had plenty of height, but not a lot of length to spare. I tell you, that is a big fish. We'll weigh this baby at the end of the show, so go ahead and take a guess. Captain Dave Engel said about 25 pounds. I said more like 30. We'll hoist it on the scale in a few minutes. But the point of this story is that early spring fishing along Lake Michigan at Saugatuck is very productive, which means that as the ice retreats, it's going to be good up north, too. But what are your chances of catching a salmon like this? It's not out of the question, but I do know one thing. You'll never catch one sitting there in your living room. Great Lakes trout and salmon can be prepared many different ways, but Joan Valentine from Ionia sent us a recipe she calls Joan's Salmon Bisque. It's a creamy-style soup made from cooked salmon that's been broiled or baked or boiled, or canned salmon, either homemade or from the grocery. First, you saute a cup of celery and a half cup of chopped onions. Then blend in a quarter cup of flour, 4 cups of milk, cook until it thickens, 2 cups of diced potatoes, 3½ cups of cooked or canned salmon, then 2 cups of cottage cheese. That all goes into the pot. Season it with salt, pepper, and celery salt. Now, I tell you, this is not just a soup. It's Joan's Salmon Bisque. You can find the recipe in the April issue of the Practical Sportsman magazine. Absolutely delectable. This Great Lakes brown trout was caught off Muskegon in Lake Michigan, trolling, early part of April, the 10th of April, at noontime. A almost 17 pounder, 16 pounds, 15 ounces. Lamprey scar, huh?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, now, was this near shore?
Yeah, it was in about 11 foot of water where he hit, and we were between the first and second sandbar, and he went out over the second sandbar, and I had him on for about 20 minutes before I got him back onto our side of the sandbar. And when he came in, he had 5 spoons on him off from the back of the boat, of our boat.
Oh, of your boat?
Yeah, by the time
so
we got him in,
he tangled up?
Yeah, he was a big mess when we got him in. Okay. But we had a good day that day.
Well, I guess so. This was a trophy Great Lakes brown trout, almost 17 pounds off Lake Michigan, off Muskegon. Greg Wagonmaker from Fremont, congratulations. You know, an interesting thing has happened here on this show. We started off, a few months ago with Sal Ghani talking about the law. Of course, me being in law school, quite interested in that. Now, I always thought the legislative side was the problem because they write up laws that just are so difficult to interpret. But maybe they're not totally the problem, or maybe they're part of the solution to the problems that they created. Now, you're a lawyer who has to deal every single day with the law books, with what legislators put out and how they define things. What do you think we should do in the outdoors? I mean, seriously, now that you've been involved in it a little bit, do you find the outdoors is kind of backwards when it comes to law?
Not backwards. What you find is that the courts are left to only interpret what the legislative branch of the government sets forth as law. One branch of the government creates a law, and the courts are left to interpret and follow the law. The problem here is the legislative branch of the government, I think, makes and creates and passes laws. They don't take into account a lot of the practical aspects of hunting. And then the law is handed down, and a ticket is written, and a judge is left to follow the letter of the law.
Well, actually, what you're talking about is a case we've been kind of groaning over for a couple weeks. Yeah. Tell us about that case.
Well, in this case, a father was written a ticket for failing to accompany or supervise his child while he's hunting. We've got a 16-year-old child who has a legal permit and right to hunt with a firearm, and the father takes him out and sits him in a spot that they planned, and then goes about 150, 200 feet away to his spot to hunt. And the CO gives the father a ticket for failing to accompany his child while he's hunting. The law doesn't define what accompany means, and that's the problem. The legislative branch of the government said you must accompany your child. The court's left with no definition of what accompany is, and they basically applied it, in my opinion, to what accompany means with the driving circumstance. They said accompany basically means being with, and no hunter hunts with their children, example, by says, let's sit with my child. They separate, and they go on hunting their own. So the problem is accompany was not defined.
So then the court took you said it took the definition from driving, like with a learner's permit, so it's got to be right next to the...
Well, the only definition of the word accompany was in Black's Law Dictionary. And that clearly does not apply to sportsmen. The legislative branch of the government has to clearly define or set forth definitions so that hunters know how to abide and that correctional officers know what to ticket on. The problem is there's no definition in some of these circumstances, and it creates a lot of confusion. And our goal is not to create more confusion, it's to try and clear up some of this confusion.
Kevin Shippa has a secret spot for morels right there.
We are not going to tell the secret spot, but we have here, you know, speaking of fishing and getting a big trophy salmon and all that, this is Kevin Shippa's jacket, which you showed me this. Go ahead, reach in there, pull that bag out there. I couldn't quite believe this for the 22nd of April. What he has in this little plastic bag that you said you got before we came to the dock this morning in the dark.
Well, it was getting light a little.
Look at this. Morel Mushrooms, 22nd of April. I didn't believe it. I thought these were fake. I thought they were plastic.
real.
They certainly are real. Look at all these white morels. What is the deal here? This, I mean, it's been cold, rainy down in the 30s.
They'll grow in the 50s if we get enough moisture. And it
So-
was 70 a couple days, heated the ground up, and then we got the rain on top of it, and up they come.
So mushroom season has started.
It's on. It's on here.
Now, is that all you could have got this morning?
I could, if I'd have looked farther, I'd have got 3 times this many in that spot, but I was in a hurry to get down here with you.
Well, bless
that
your,
nice?
bless your little heart. Well, I'm glad you brought those morels. Good news. Morel season is on, at least here in the Southwest.
Get in the woods.
Oh, those tasty morels. Kevin says the secret spot is under the ferns right now, real early. But get outdoors this weekend, maybe go find some mushrooms, go fishing, whatever. It's a great place to be outdoors. See you back here next week. We'll weigh this baby at the end of the show, so go ahead and take a guess. Captain Dave Engel said about 25 pounds. I said more like 30. We'll hoist it on the scale in a few minutes. But the point of this story is that early spring fishing along Lake Michigan at Saugatuck is very productive, which means that as the ice retreats, it's going to be good up north, too. But what are your chances of catching a salmon like this? It's not out of the question, but I do know one thing. You'll never catch one sitting there in your living room.
This is the end of our fishing trip, and we're going to do what's called the meat shot. You know, where we put what we caught? And this is what we caught in brown trout primarily, and a couple little small salmon. We got Larry and Chris and Eli and Jeff here. But Jeff has the surprise for the meat shot. Right behind you, Jeff. Look at this. Look at this. Man alive. We got us a salmon that won't quit. Captain, 5 3/4 pounder?
Yep.
Is this normal?
Well, I don't know about normal, but we get a few of them like that. It's this spring we've caught several of them in the 20s, you know, which I was telling you.
And Jeff is the man. Come on over here, Jeff. You're the man who caught it. You ever caught a fish like this before?
No, sir.
You don't have to call me sir. I'm not.
Okay,
There's no
Fred,
sirs.
no, I haven't.
You haven't. And that thing was taken off, and you were handling it though. Perfect. I mean, you didn't horse it. You didn't pull it.
Well, I had help by the Captain Dave too on that, and like I said, it was out 500 feet. You know, that was it was a little bit of work. It was nice.
It was nice.
Yes,
That's
real
an
nice.
understatement, isn't it?
Right.
What are you going to do with it?
Eli wants to go ahead and have it mounted. He's trying to talk me into it, but I think we'll just go ahead and eat it.
Go in. It sounds good. That's a practical thing to do. Well, it's a heck of a day of fishing. Captain, I'm impressed. This was as exciting as a spring fishing trip as I've had in many, many years.
Yeah.
One this big. How big is this going to be in the fall? One like this.
Good question. You know, they basically eat their body weight every day. So I'm sure that fish would put on 10 or 15 pounds throughout the summer, you know, with no problem whatsoever. We're going to see some big ones because we've caught several this week at exactly 22 pounds on the same scale, which matches right up with official scales. So.
And this is close to 26.
Right, so
How exciting.
yeah, we're going to have some big ones this summer.